Hello and welcome everyone. This is the Skull Circuits VCF-4. You probably know the widely used and highly acclaimed Sherman Filterbanks. So I'm surprised that nobody really knows or talks about this nifty little Eurorack filter that uses the same filter chip as the Shermans. Let me be clear, the VCF-4 is not a Sherman clone, the internal wiring was designed ground up. But I would lie if this guy doesn't produce some gnarly sounds, similar to the legendary Filterbanks. In this video, we have a look at the sounds of the VCF-4, and we also compare it with the real Sherman Filterbank. So for me, this filter shines the most on instrumental samples by completely distorting and destroying them. To give you a sense of the sound of this filter, I'm using a piano recording on the morphogene and have the filter cutoff of the VCF-4 be controlled by the morphogene's envelope follower here. Have a listen for that distortion the VCF is adding. You can also use the VCF-4 on traditional oscillator waves to add some grid. Here is a short example. To give you a proper comparison, let's compare the sounds that come out of the VCF-4 with the real Sherman Filterbank. For this, I asked the group WEZ� KER to use the sound file you hear in the background right now and mangle them using the Sherman filter, as a little challenge, if you will, to see who can create the more sublime sounds. WEZ� KER uses the Shermans in basically all their music, so I'm excited to show you how they rose to the task. And go check out the link in the description below if you like what you hear. So for my interpretation of the texture that you just heard, I'm using two joysticks to control the filter cutoff, the resonance factor and the filter type of each channel of the VCF-4 individually. Alright, and let's compare that to the Sherman version. You can hear the pristine distortion and the effect of the LFO and envelope followers at work here. So overall, in terms of sound quality and sound aesthetic, I slightly prefer the Sherman, but when it comes to the amount of fine control you have, the VCF-4 and the Eurorack ecosystem is slightly ahead. As a second test, I recorded some drums and I used the VCF-4 for some parallel processing. In this case, the VCF-4 is adding overtones to both the kick and the snare. Have a listen to the before. And the after. And now the same sound sample, just with the Sherman flexing its muscles. Alright, I hope that gives you a good side-by-side comparison of the Sherman and the VCF-4. And thanks again to WEZ� KER for providing the Sherman sound examples. Much appreciated. To finish up the video, I quickly want to mention that you can also use the VCF-4 as an oscillator with some nice sound shaping capabilities, but be warned because it doesn't track 1 volt per octave well at all. Alright, this is all I have for you today. On the question of should you go for a VCF-4 or a Sherman, well, the sound of the Sherman is just a league of its own. And if you need to buy all the necessary components in Eurorack, that is the preamp, the ADSR, the AR generator, the envelope follower, the LFO, the filter, the VCA, it will likely be more expensive than just a standalone Sherman Filterbank. However, if you already have a massive Eurorack, the VCF-4 gets you that flavor of distortion only a switched capacitor filter can provide. I for one am really happy with the VCF-4, specifically when processing instrumental samples. I also reach for the VCF-4 when I need to CV control a lot of filter parameters at the same time, individually per stereo channel, as the VCF-4 allows for CV control over all basic filter parameters. If you're interested in the raw filter sweeps, I've added them to the end of this video without any commentary. Alright, if you find the content helpful, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.